City, Monroe Common Council, Tuesday, February 7th, 2017 to order. Call the roll.
Alderperson Miller.
Here.
Bauman. Here. Boyce.
Here.
Newcomer.
Here.
Cook.
Here.
Beard. Marsh.
Here.
Stengel. Tone.
Here. Right along to topic B is our City Hall flooring project. City Administrator.
Okay, so following a meeting, the last time we talked about this, staff was directed to move forward with filing our notice to declare a default on the project. We had done that. Attorney Bardoff had dropped the notice. We mailed that out. And then once we did that, we received notice that they wanted to have a meeting.
They're unmuted.
Okay. Well, that'll mute us.
You should mute it. He has to hear it.
Jeff, can you mute us?
Muted?
Can you mute your phone for now until you need to talk, please? We're gonna try that. Okay, so that sounds better. Okay, great. So we had the phone conference, and KPH came back and have requested to submit another change order, which provided to you in the amount of $49,999. Again, this change order was to purchase and install the epoxy system, which is a new product process that was not included in the initial bid, and not something that either side had contemplated needing to complete the project. So that is the reason why they are asking for compensation on that piece of it. This is not any of the work that was done in the second or potentially the third effort. This does not include any of that cost. This is solely for the purchase and installation of the epoxy system. The actual system itself was about $55,900, so there is a little bit of a deduction that they're taking to get to the $49,999.
Is this any different than what they offered the last time?
It is the same system. They are absorbing some of the cost for that. They have taken on about $110,000 of their own costs between purchasing the flooring materials for a second time and what will be a third time in some cases, and the installation of that flooring a second and in some areas a third time. So they are absorbing all of that cost between them and the sub, which is Zerson's. It's also including the labor that was put forth in preparing the floor to try that second time. So the grinding that was done of the flooring is absorbing all of the cost as well.
But that was part of their original bid, wasn't it?
The grinding was not part of their original
Grinding
bid.
wasn't.
Putting in the floor 2 or 3 times was not part of the original bid.
But I mean, isn't that kind of irrelevant? I mean, it didn't stick.
The floor did not stick, and that is what the subject of debate is. Did the floor not stick because of something that they did to it, or does it not stick because of unforeseen conditions?
Well, for me, there's two issues. There's the issue of the flooring, and then there's the issue of the abatement, which the True North report shows that they came through, grinded it up, and there's asbestos containing material laying everywhere, which I think still exists. No one's been in there to clean it up, correct?
No, they did clean that up the second time. So after the True North report had occurred between the first time and the second time at this. So they went in, they used their normal process, which is a chemical abatement process. That was when the building was tented, they had to be in suits, it was a hazardous environment. So they went in, cleaned all the flooring, and used chemicals to help clean up the mastic on the floor. Once all that was done, they did their air tests and then went forward with trying to do the first installation. we saw failure at that time. Okay, so at that point, we were thinking it may have been the chemicals that were used or some other process, something that was occurring the failure. And had requested to have True North do this report to help determine what the cause of that failure was. The True North report identified a couple of things. They identified that there were some samples that they had picked, a little over half of them, that had some asbestos-containing materials in there. It determined that there could have been some moisture issues or some other issues with the installation itself. So not everything was necessarily related to the abatement process in and of itself. The second time then, they went in, they cleaned it. So they ground the floor at that point. They used vinegar to help wash it down, to change some of the pH levels of the flooring. And Zerson did testing for pH levels, which is when the vinegar was used, and moisture levels to determine if the floor was still wet or was dry enough to put in the flooring. All those tests came back. The floor was cleared to put down the flooring again, and we're still seeing failure. So something is causing this failure to occur.
The other concern I have, so just so I'm clear, they came in after the True North report and cleaned it all up.
Yes.
So we're reasonably confident that all the mastic-containing material is gone.
I am reasonably confident, and the second time they cleaned, they did not need to suit up or retent or do anything
So
else.
it's off the
any,
walls and everything like that.
yes, any asbestos-containing materials that may have still been present were not of the toxic variety that they would have needed to go through the whole environmental process again. Is it safe to consume and whatever else? Of course not.
No, but, okay, fine, but then the second part is, in the True North report, they talk about the manufacturer's warranties and the instructions for application for the adhesives, and how some of the chemical solvents that KPH used were in direct contradiction to those warranties. I'm wondering, how can that be considered an unforeseen condition or circumstance? I mean, they're using materials that they should know, that they're using cleaning materials that they should know are going to counteract the adhesive properties of the materials that they're using to put the floor on. I mean, I don't understand how that's unforeseen.
And I'm not an expert in this area, of course. My understanding of looking and researching and all the work that's been done with this, that the materials that were used, it was an oil-based cleaning solution, and most of the materials these days are water-based. So when you take oil and water, obviously they don't mix. And there was some thought that that was part of the process or the reason why these things weren't occurring. When they came back through and cleaned again with this vinegar solution, it was not an oil-based, so should have helped with taking care of some of those things, and they ground off the top level of whatever it was they were doing before. Was that enough to counteract what was done in the first place? As we were sitting in the meeting with the surety, they said 90-something% of the companies use chemicals to treat flooring when they're doing this. That is what is considered industry standard. The remainder are typically using a grinding process, which is much more expensive, which is why not as many do that. And they did that the second time and still saw the same failure. So what was the cause of that failure? Can we prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that it was something they did, perhaps the chemicals, but perhaps not? And if we can't prove that, which will be on us to prove, is my understanding, in order to win the case and get money from the surety.
I thought the surety has to investigate. Have they investigated? Have they been given any of the materials, testing data or anything like that?
Yes, they have been given pretty much everything. They listened to our side. They had listed off, I don't know, a dozen plus things that they were requesting information from us. So they have everything that we had on this, and they have everything that KPH had on this.
So of their 5 options within that performance bond, did they indicate which one they were going to pursue?
They got all the information from us, but they're, I guess my opinion is hoping that we come to a resolution so they don't step in. They're gonna, if if we can't make the resolution, then they are gonna do a further investigation, probably bring in their own people, maybe their own experts or whatever, and do their own further investigation. That is not taking part. I don't think that's gonna take until we either declare default or this is clearly going down that route.
So it's either they call our bluff or we call theirs.
Has anybody went down and shipped out some of that concrete, sent it out to the testing lab to see what's in that concrete that would create the problem of it not sticking? Instead of just sitting there and looking at it?
The time before, that was the third proposal they had, was to do further testing. That was the $15,000 that they were requesting to have that further testing done.
So that would be on us to pay that then?
Unless that comes back, initially, yes. Now, if that comes back, and that was part of what the second part of this was to say it would most likely benefit the city to hire some expert, because we're gonna need that anyway to make our case for the default.
Well, assuming we accept the change order, they ask that we don't bond the additional work, is that correct? Did I read that correctly, that the additional work will not be bonded?
That was our request, because we're just paying for them to bond that.
Okay, so, but if it fails, then we have no recourse for that additional work?
No, it does include a warranty from McKay.
That's very
But
good.
not under the performance bond. So we have to give up the liquidated damages that have been accruing and are accruing.
Mhm.
And what is that number? That's gotta be 20,000 probably, somewhere in there?
I think it was about 15,000 maybe. It's $300 per working day. But it only counts from, whatever time, and then once we stopped, and once we got to this point, so technically it stops. They can't do any more work. So from, I think it's October 21st roughly to when we sent the notice, that would be that timeframe. It was about $14,000 roughly.
December.
I guess I know that if it was my business or my house, and this was a contract that I had led, I would not be paying the additional money. I just would not do it. They'd have to take me to court to get it. But that's me.
Do we have any other discussion before we get closed here? Ready to go closed?
Do we need to? I don't know how others feel about it, but if the others wanna go ahead and approve it, someone make a motion to do it and we can vote on it and maybe save ourselves some time.
Any other questions or comments? We pretty much said most of it here.
I move that we close.
Second.
Business closed under Wisconsin Stats 1985-1G, referring to legal counsel for a governmental body who is rendering oral or written advice concerning strategy to be adopted by the body with respect to litigation which it is likely to be involved in Wisconsin Stats 1985-1P, deliberating or negotiating the purchasing of public properties, investing in public funds, or conducting other specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require closed session. Limited to the governing body, necessary staff and other officers such as director, attorney, and other persons whose presence is necessary for business at hand. A, negotiation strategy and advice from city attorneys. Motion and second, so say aye to go to close.
Aye.
We're in closed.